everyone. Thank you for joining me for another monthly wrap up. I am your host, Sheena from Sheena Love Stories, and today we're going to be talking about the books that I read in May. May. I forgot what month I was talking about for a second. It's hot. It's a hot heat wave around here, so I apologize. My brain is a little melted. But I was really excited. In the month of May, I read 5 books. 5 books. And I don't think I even finished a book in April. So pretty crazy. The first book that I read was Vincent the Ripper. Vincent van Gogh was Jack the Ripper. Case Closed, Volume 1. This is really just wrinkled my whole brain. This was written by Dale Larner, and I read this digitally through the Kindle Unlimited app. It was 345 pages and it was published in 2025. And this is a nonfiction biography, true crime type book. And it is the first book in a series of books that Dale Larner has been researching. I don't know how, he tells me how he's been researching this for years and has come to the conclusion that Vincent van Gogh was Jack the Ripper. And that wrinkled my whole brain. And it was a really interesting thing to think about. And I didn't know those two type of events were happening around the same time, but they were. And he provides receipts. This man has created a whole website with letters, with pictures, with maps, and all of this stuff to back up what he was saying. He is not an investigator. He is not a somebody who, like a historian or anything. He is somebody who fell down a rabbit hole, and this is what he found after years of research. And it was very interesting. I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to the second volume coming out because, like, you know what? Yeah, reading this, I'm like, Vincent van Gogh may have been Jack the Ripper. What? Okay. But I rated this a 4.25 out of 5. I enjoyed it. It was really great. I was telling other people that I talk to who read true crime books, like, this is an interesting one. You should definitely read it. The second book that I read in May is The Lost Herodrum. This was written by Matthew J. Kirby, and I read this physically. It was 254 pages, and it was published in 2026. And this one is like a fiction, fantasy, horror novel, and is very interesting. I really like this. So this book takes place in the Diablo game universe, and the story specifically takes place after Diablo 3, the events of Diablo 3, and before the events of Diablo 4. It has Tyrael in it. It has some of the people that you meet in Diablo 4 and are like interacting with. And so this is a story just from the people when Tyrael was starting up the Herodrum, or restarting up the Herodrum, trying to build it back up, years before the events of Diablo 4, especially the events of the Vessel of Hatred, or the Lord of Hatred expansion. This book came out right before the expansion came out, so it tells you more about the area that was released in the game. And all of these people that you meet in the book are in the game, and you get to find out more information. It was really great. I read this book before I played the expansion, and I was really excited when I played the expansion because there was little bits and pieces of things around, especially in side quests, that alluded to the events of the book. So I got more information about that, and I got Easter eggs, and I was really happy about it. And the book was really well written. I read it super fast. Once I started reading it, I was just like, wow, this is really great. So I think I'm going to definitely pick up some more books from the franchise. I have a Deckard Cain book that I don't even think I've read it yet. But I definitely want more from this universe like this, in novel form like this. It is so great. I highly recommend it. If you like Diablo, if you like fantasy novels, if you like fantasy horror type novels, even like something like that, definitely pick up this book. It was really interesting. It was a 4.75 out of 5. And the third book that I finished in May was Aliens Vasquez. So this was written by V. Castro. I read this physically, and it was 427 pages. And this book was published in 2022, and it is listed as fiction and sci-fi. So this book takes the character Vasquez from my favorite movie in the Aliens franchise, Aliens, the second one, takes Vasquez and tells a story about her background and gives us more information about her, except the book takes the character's name and likeness and then changes her whole backstory. And not only changes, it gives her children that she now has and a whole family. And the book didn't lie to me. I thought the book was going to be about Vasquez and her background story. It is not. There was a couple of chapters of Vasquez and her backstory, and the rest of it is about her twin children that she apparently had. In this reimagining, let's call it that, a reimagining of the Vasquez story. It's following her children. And I have a whole video about that that's going to be super long, super ranty. And I just finished recording the last of that. So when I get done editing that, I'll add that link in the description below so you can see my whole feelings on that whole book. And I did not enjoy this book. It took me months to read. So I rated it a 0.25 out of 5. And that was even being a little bit generous, but a 0.25 out of 5. And the fourth book that I read in May, or I finished in May, is The Eyes Are the Best Part. This was written by Monica Kim. I read this physically, and this is 288 pages, and it was published in 2024, and is listed as fiction, horror, and a thriller novel. And this is my third time reading this book. The first time I read this book, it was through an audiobook through my library. The second time I read this book, it was digitally through my library. The third time I've read this book, which is this last time, it's physically, because my husband got me the super awesome special edition of this book that has the sides painted and everything. It looks really neat. It's really great, and I really enjoy this book. This book follows a girl who is dealing with the whole breakdown of her family. Her father left her mother and her to go live with a different woman and to go start a different life. And during this time that they're trying to figure out what's going on, the mom goes kind of crazy. And then their mom meets this man who is he's just a dirtbag. This man is just a dirtbag. But he paid attention to their mom, and now he's stuck in their life as her boyfriend. And then this girl is getting a little crazy. She starts breaking down mentally a little bit. She has her dad leaving, and now she has to take care of her sister and her mom. She is starting school, but because of her grades and some other issues going on in her life, she wasn't able to go to the school that she wanted to, so she had to go to a local school. And while there, she has to deal with potential issues with people that she's meeting there. And she also had an issue with her friends from high school. She's isolated. She has all of these stressors on her, and you can just feel her breaking down mentally throughout the whole thing. Like, she's just slowly going more and more crazy, and I love it. It is written so well, and as the title of the book suggests, she gets a weird fascination with eyeballs. And I have a weird fascination with eyeballs, so I can relate. And I love the attention to detail in this book with the whole eyeball things and everything like that. It's so good. It's so good. I rated this a 4.5 out of 5. I definitely recommend it. It does get graphic with eyeballs, though. I will tell you that. But it's great. Such a good book. I'm excited to read it again, but I'm going to put it down for a little bit because I have so many books I have not finished reading on my shelves over there that those are my priority. But this is a nice, it's weird to say, but this is a nice comfort book for me. And the fifth book that I read in May is Mulka. This is also written by Monica Kim. I read this through an audiobook. It was about 8 hours. This was published in 2026, and this is listed as a fiction horror novel. And I actually read this book because I just finished reading The Eyes Are the Best Part in the super special awesome edition of The Eyes Are the Best Part. At the back of it, it has a little bit of this book. This is the latest book from Monica Kim. And I had a really long drive ahead of me visiting family down in New Mexico. So I was like, I'm going to download the audiobook and I'm going to listen to the audiobook. It is not the same type of book. While the first book was a girl getting more and more crazy after you have all of these stressors compounding on her, and she becomes a little crazy. She just gets a little crazy. a lot crazy. It takes place in California, and it's a lot of familiarity with it. You didn't have to explain a lot to me because I'm familiar with the area. Not even the area, just kind of more the culture of it. Mulka takes place in Korea. This book takes place in Korea, and there was a very large scandal. I don't know if it's still ongoing. It might have ended, but there's a big problem in Korea with having women being secretly recorded. And the cover of this book, I guess, made me think of it was going to be more of a horror-y novel. And the author spends a lot of time talking about the social issues in Korea at the time. And the name of the book, Mulka, is a abbreviated name for a Korean term that means sneaky camera. And this book gets really graphic with the language from the characters. And I don't know, I felt it was unnecessary to be that graphic with the language, especially right out of the gate with it. I didn't enjoy it that much because of the language. A lot of it was just kind of bringing it a little bit down. I understood the situations that they were in. I understood that the Korean culture is a lot different from American culture. So I didn't know if certain choices were choices that were, like, I guess, the characters would do, because I was like, I don't know, is that normal in Korean culture? It's not normal in American culture. I know what I would have done. But yeah, I watch a lot of K-dramas, and it's not a best way to learn a culture or anything. So I thought it was going in a very K-drama-esque way that I enjoy those K-dramas, like especially the revenge K-dramas. So I was adding more complexity to the story that I thought would pay off later, like in my head, and it didn't. And so that felt disappointing. And when it went into the horror parts of it, I was very confused on what... I feel a little jaded because I was like, what's scary about this? I understood what should have been scary about it, but it wasn't. It felt out of place. A lot of it felt out of place, and a lot of it just felt like this is telling a perspective of somebody who... It's like somebody who was in a situation where they were secretly recorded without their permission, and that was leaked onto the internet, and this is kind of fan fiction revenge. That's how it reads. So it reads a little weird. I didn't enjoy the writing as much as The Eyes Are the Best Part. I understood the story, and I understood why the author wrote it, because the author tells you at the beginning. I just didn't enjoy it as much. I think it could have been done a lot, I don't want to say better, but differently. That would have enhanced the story as well as sending the message. Without it at the end just feeling like... At the end, it reminded me of what people are talking about The Boys' finale episode. Like, it reminds me of the discourse around that. And I was just like, it didn't feel great. I have no need, like, I feel no need to ever own this book or to ever read it again. I'm like, well, I read it. There it is. It was okay. It was okay. And that even goes into the rating. I rated it a 3 out of 5. So it was okay. Wasn't the worst book I read, obviously. But wasn't the best book I read. And I will probably never really read it again, maybe even reference it in my head again, unless something specific happens situationally wise that I see in media that just reminds me of it. Like, it was okay. It was okay. But those are the 5 books that I finished in May. I'm super excited about some of them. Like I said, I'll have the full Vasquez review. That's the only one I've done on any of these books so far. If you want a bigger book review on any of them, definitely let me know, and I'll get that out for you guys. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I hope you guys have an amazing day, night, afternoon, whatever it is where you are. And don't forget to do all of the YouTube things, like, subscribe, all of that stuff. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.